How's everybody doing? This is Carlos back with you once again. This presentation is especially for our public school parents, which I hold dearly in my heart. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about academic excellence in the home. And what this is a summary of my observations as a tutor, right? So I've been working with parents. A lot of times it's hard to work with parents when their focus is on the problems their kids are having in school. And so I decided, you know what, you need me to work with your kid, you want me to work with your kid, tell you something that maybe will give you some clarity, know what to do, I'm in. Okay, and so I do say here, because this is about self-reflection, it's the observations from a tutor who uses the mirror as his preferred tool for self-evaluation. Okay, and so let's. All right. Now, this whole concept of excellence in the home stems from a bigger, broader set of concepts that I believe that if we all got on board with them, then we could fix our public schools for free. It's an attitude change, right? And prior to this work that I'm going to share with you, as a, this work as a tutor, uh, my focus was on excellence in the classroom, right? And so I too was directing my, you know, and so this whole concept of excellence in the home stems from a bigger picture, I guess you could say. And it's really a bigger project, which is what I believe we need and nothing else to fix our public schools, which is an attitude adjustment. All of us, all stakeholders. Uh, One where the parents make sure that excellence in the home is a non-negotiable, where teachers make sure that excellence in the classroom is a non-negotiable, and our board, which are also community members, ensure that there is excellence in the boardroom. They're making good policies, teachers are employing best practices, and parents are doing the right things to optimize learning opportunities in the home. Okay? And I just happen to be fortunate enough to be working with a group of activist parents and activist parent groups, right? So these are not your run-of-the-mill parents that just drop off, because these are the parents that get involved. These are the parents that get involved and they also participate in committees and they have something to say, and we're all there for the same reason. There is some displeasure we experienced and we don't want it to happen again to our own kids and anybody else's kids for that matter, because they weren't good. They're not conducive to learning, whatever the experiences were. I mean, I wanted to beat somebody up. But level heads prevailed, and so here we are, right? And so, but yeah, no, we have trash to talk about the things we've observed, things we've heard, uh, things we've seen, as our kids share with us. Uh, but this group, right, like any other parent with kids struggling in school, they asked me to work with their kids. I said, I'll work with you. I'll work with them, and so this is, I was welcomed into the home. I mean, the meetings were by Zoom, but you get to see at least a couple of snapshots of what's happening in the house. There's some things will surprise you, and then you know after or while I was tutoring them, I also decided, you know what, let's train on Schoology, because I myself, which Schoology being the learning management system that the Los Angeles Unified School District uses to report, assignments, give assignments. Because assignments include the Zoom links for the kids. Basically, all the work and interaction is happening through Schoology, right? All the information transfer, and we can see what's past due, what's overdue, what scores the kids got on their assignments, on their tests, and there's additional resources as well. So, once I started doing the tutoring, once I started doing the training, we had a lot of epiphanies, a lot of moments of clarity, a lot of moments of like self-awareness and discovering. People started thinking twice about throwing stones in a glass house, and so I was delighted by it because I hear, these parents and they, at some of these meetings, they rip into like the district staff. And yes, everything that they have to say about equity, inadequate teachers, poorly used budgets, no progress is true. But you have to start asking, how much does that have to do with what you're doing in the home? And so this is what I observed. Okay. First, I want to just say, parents, it's time for us to step up our game. There is no way around it. Even if your kids are doing really well, there's always another level. Right? But what we have here is these are the things, based on my observations, that parents can do to improve learning opportunities and help the kids improve their grades. Simple contributions, right? So one, you have to be wise. You have to get wise on what excellent work looks like and what effort really looks, what true effort looks like. Okay, because there were things that were signed off by parents that I wouldn't have signed them, but you have to look at it, and there's, especially with my immigrant parents, they always cling on to the whole language barrier. There's a lot of things that we can communicate without even using words. So all you have to do is listen to your child read something that they just wrote. If they're stuttering, if their fluency is not right, if they read for too long, got run-on sentences, right? But you have to want to learn. You have to want to get into it, right? And so that's the ticket. And yeah, so you gotta create suitable. You have to provide a suitable environment for study and concentration. One of the things that I observed or suffered through really was there was all kinds of noise going on while I'm working with the kid, right? And it was hard for him to hear, hard for me to hear, and conversations were going on. The TV was on. I'm like, come on, come on. This is parenting 101, right? Uh, the other part. Let's not confuse activity with achievement, right? And so, just because your kid's been working on something for 3 hours doesn't mean he's going to get a good grade or she's going to get a good grade. In fact, they could be doing it all wrong because usually homeworks don't take that long, one assignment, right? Maybe a project, but you can't just brag to me about, oh yeah, she stays up all night, she loses sleep. I'm like, that's not good, right? You're bragging about the wrong things. And so, next piece of advice, there has to be a routine, some structure. Next, open your mouth when the teacher is failing to do what's right. So for example, I was working with one parent, working with their child, and said, okay, let's pop open your Schoology. I want to see, what your scores look like. I want to see what you're past due on. So my teacher doesn't use Schoology. I said, what? As far as I understand, that's mandatory for parents, students, and teachers. And so this was one of my most activist parents who, beloved in the community. She does a lot of good things. But I told her about it. I thought she was going to be on it. Next, you got to have deep communication with the kids. It's got to be more than just, how was your day? Great. Did you have a good day at school? Yes. Did you do your homework? Yes. No, it's got to be like, okay, you got done pretty quick. Let me see what you did. Let me listen to you. Read it to me. I mean, kids love that stuff. I mean, when they get older, they don't, but hopefully by the time they're older, they don't need you to do this stuff with them anymore, not as much at least, because at the early stages, you took care of it. You impressed these good values and standards is really what they are. And then make sure that the students are developing study skills, test-taking strategies, and the discipline of personal organization. And the reason why is there really are tricks to doing things more efficiently and not sacrificing learning. Okay, and so scanning a book, as you read through it, that's a study skill that somebody has to teach you how to do, or you at least have to read about it, because everything, you can learn anything online nowadays. And so you don't need a tutor, you don't need any of that. All you got to do is look it up online. And so my conclusion at the end of, well, it's ongoing, but by the time I decided to write this or put this together was, you know what? all this talk, all these expenditures, on tutors. Tutors is not what most of these kids. They were all very bright, all of them, because there's no such thing as a dumb kid. I mean, there are some that are disabled, uh, but everybody's smart. Everybody, if you get enough information, you can hold a conversation, you can process through things. And so they had all the potential to get A's or fours, whatever scoring, you know, strategy you want to use. And in most cases, probably not better teachers, right? When I went into my kid's Schoology, and I went to look at the work assigned by the teachers that she disliked the most. Those were the teachers that did the most work and the best work. I was impressed. I said, you got some good. This teacher really cares about you guys, and she it turned her around, turned my kid around, because I had accepted what she was telling me, and so I accepted her negative attitude, which just reinforced her to continue having a negative attitude. And then when I saw the work, I was like, you're a fool. You should be grateful you have a teacher who cares enough to give you graphic organizers to help you set up your work and make your presentations and do your essays. I was like, no, you're going to start working for this teacher because she's working for you. And, things are much improved. And so, you know, they don't need tutors, they need academic mentors. And those mentors need to be mom and dad, or just mom or just dad, but somebody who has some authority, who is responsible for the child, and make sure that some of these conditions are met, if not all. Okay? So those are my observations, and really what I'm saying is these are the things that I saw lacking in the homes, right? In some form or fashion. And parents, you gotta accept that if you want something from your child, some kind of improvement from your child and your teacher, the improvement starts with you. That's rule of thumb in life. You know, you end up finding out that all these things you needed to have changed, once you've changed, you don't need those anymore. What the outcome you desired came from the change you made in yourself, not trying to force it on your child or the teacher. Just give it a try. So let's make this the strategy of the year. This is pie in the sky gold medal. If you can, and I know you can, establish study groups for your child in his community, in his neighborhood, where he's doing his homework with some classmates or some neighbors, right? Even if it's not the same work, they can sit around a table and do some work together and maybe ask questions of each other. This is how students in elite universities, studying some challenging, hard science, this is how they thrive. You want to do it on your own? Best of luck. I'm going to tell you, you learn faster and better when you have a sounding board. Better yet, even if you are all in the same class and you coordinate. This is real hard homework. You take number one, you take number two, you take number three, I'll take number four. We're all going to work on all four problems, but each of us is responsible for bringing the correct answer and thorough explanation for how they arrived at that answer, ready to be challenged. And the rest of us will do our best, we'll get it done. Hopefully we're right, but if we're not, whoever's responsible for each problem, we're going to be relying on you to, to tell us, how you got there and give us all the comfort that you did things right, you thought everything through. Let me tell you, math, I was a math major. Teachers would give you one assignment, three problems. And it took all freaking week to get those done. And if you were going solo, literally, I needed a tutor. I had to hire a tutor to get me through math analysis. Had I, had this practice already instilled in me of, as soon as first day of class, I'm making some contacts, asking, hey, do you mind working together? Maybe we can split up the work. That's the way to do it. And I tell you, when I was going to Cal, the only group I saw doing that across the board all the time, the Asian students. Okay? And I believe some article came out in the Daily Californian, where they addressed that issue. Why do the Asian students do better? Well, here's one of the reasons, from what I can recall, this was a behavior that was reinforced from before they got to college. They were doing this back in high school. I don't know if it was a parent thing. I don't know if the school reinforced it, but it's proven. I know this because former junior high school students of mine that took algebra with me, they went to Cal also, and they went to Summer Bridge, and for engineers, and that's the first thing that they taught them: work as a team. Okay, it's a requirement for real life, for the workplace, but it's also going to make you more successful in your classes. All right, so let's start doing that right now. Especially if you got kids who are taking AP classes. Let me tell you, my daughter, stupid me, I didn't. These things don't come to me all the time, except when I'm thinking about you guys. Um, yeah, no, I wish, but she's antisocial too, so like me. So it was hard to like get it to work in study groups. Uh, and I know she regrets it. All right, and at this point, the year's almost done. We'll do better next year, I hope. Okay. I'm not saying I'm perfect. All right, I'm letting you know. But in the end, remember that when you're looking at your child, what you're looking at is a reflection of yourself and the quality of the work and the effort that you put into him or her, throughout the years. And so don't get mad at anybody else but yourself, even when it's somebody else's fault. Like Jocko Willing says, take extreme ownership and you will find a way. And if you ever need to talk to somebody, you know where to find me. All right, everybody, have a good night or good morning, depending on where you are. And we'll talk soon.